Good evening. It's June 15th, 2023. I feel kind of inspired to do a brief little 2-minute take on the Oregon-Salem legislative reconvening. It appears that the Republicans, after about a month of a walkout and protest of some key fundamental principles, have come back. And from what I'm gathering, there's a pretty good piece in the OPB. I'm not a fan of the OPB, but this is a pretty good piece because it's very accurate and it breaks down a number of things that I was not aware of. Somebody, I'm not giving them credit on who that was because I just don't remember the name, but somebody had an inside ear in what was going on down there because they broke it down really well. Concessions were made on both sides. Compromise was made on both sides, all sides, both sides, all sides. And I think that's really an important fundamental dynamic to grasp. I know that anytime something like this comes out, kind of like almost, I hate to use the word sausage meat grinder, but it kind of is in a way when you've got this almost a grand bargain of issues that came about that was compromised on. Gun rights in 2A, there was, they wanted to do an age restriction, and so that, the ghost guns I think will stand. That's a pretty good concession. The key thing and the deal breaker is always in my heart as an independent, was the parental rights. Now, obviously, as a father of a daughter, it hit close to home. But you don't have to have children to understand parents' rights and civil liberties to raise their children. I don't see that as a conservative value. I don't see it as some sort of all the framing, and I don't even want to use the words that people put the framing and the words on. I don't see it like that. I see it as a fundamental right for parents to raise their children. It's their responsibility. If you're going to hold parents responsible, you also need to uphold their civil liberties and their rights for parental informed consent for abortions and for sexual genital mutilation, already known as gender changes, sex changes. There's public funding on that. There's going to be a lot of conservatives and a lot of religious people, and understandable in my world, that are going to reject and be repulsed the fact that public tax dollars are paying for youth to distort their bodies. And as a teen crisis residential advocate and crisis worker for years back, I haven't done it for 20 years, but it feels like it was yesterday, and it deeply affected my life, my mind, and my heart working with these at-risk youth downtown Portland. The stories, I could write a book. I won't, but I could, and it would make you cry. But that's not the point. So the concessions, I think we got to accept that they were both made on all sides, both sides, and it's a responsible thing to do. I'm actually impressed that the Republicans sucked it up and came back, and I'm super impressed that the Democrats made the concessions that they did on key things that they were stonewalling on and said they would never compromise on, and mainly the termination of pregnancy with the minors behind parental consent, and the as I already mentioned, I'm repeating myself there, but and I have to give credit where I think, now I'm an outsider, I have no idea, but I think what happened was some serious maneuvering by Governor Tina Kotek's staff and players. Without knowing anything, that's my intuition and gut instincts. These type of concessions and grand bargains did not happen with Governor Kate Brown. It plain and simple. Did they? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I may not have been paying close enough attention, but Governor Brown didn't have the gumption or the political, I hate to say the brains, but I kind of feel like she didn't have the brains. I think Tina is a very intelligent player, and it's going to benefit Oregon all around, even though we've got some ugly things to deal with. And so that's my take on it. I could ramble on and on and on, but it is what it is. Congrats on getting all the players to the table, and congrats, if I'm correct, to Governor Tina's brains and people around her that probably bent the Democrats and sent them in to make those concessions. So, God bless. Thank you, GOP, for standing up for parental rights. I'll never forget that, ever. Just like I'll never forget what the Democrats did against parental rights, informed consent, and civil liberties. God bless.